In the studio today I have my beautiful friend Maria, you may know her as PilotMaria. We have known each other for the past 14 years and today we have got together to create a daytime look, and I'm going to show you how to transition that into an evening look. She has the most incredible Instagram account, but is also now doing YouTube, so I will link her channel below for you. I'm starting off by prepping Maria's skin with some Embryolisse. Maria flies an awful lot, so she does find that her skin can get a little bit more dehydrated, and this is a rich moisturiser. I do find it is definitely a lot better for drier skins, even though it says it's for all skin types. As we're doing a daytime look to begin with, I'm going to keep the skin super natural. I'm using the bareMinerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream. I've mixed together Tan 07 and Bamboo 5.5 to create a little colour for Maria because she's not long got back from Hawaii, so she does have a little bit of a tan. So this works as a moisturiser, foundation and has an SPF all in one. It provides a sheer to medium coverage, so I do find it goes on best with your fingers, and I do tend to apply 2 layers to give you that little bit of extra coverage. Although this does contain an SPF of 30, you do still need to apply an actual SPF underneath your makeup if you really want to gain protection against UV rays. Before I apply a second layer, I'm pressing that into the skin just to give it the most natural finish. I'm now going in with the IT Cosmetics Full Coverage Concealer. We have a nice sheer base down which has evened out Maria's skin tone, but just to give her a little bit more coverage in the areas that she needs it, I'm going to apply this with a small brush. She has a tiny bit of redness on her cheeks, a little bit around her nose, and I'm also going to apply a small amount underneath the eyes. This way Maria's skin will still look like skin, naturally beautiful but flawless. So this is a high definition finish concealer, so the idea is that the pigment is really high but it's undetectable on the skin, so you still get the coverage but you don't get that cakey dry finish to it, and it is a waterproof finish so it will last all day. And the colour I'm using on Maria is light medium. The shade light is ultra light. When you're creating a look that's very natural, you don't want to go too light with your concealer to give that brightening effect, otherwise you kind of take away from that natural look to your skin. So I'm going to allow that base to settle in and I'm going to move on to the eyes. I'm starting off by taking one of the NudeStix Luminous Magnetic Eye Colours in the shade Prayer. This colour is from their Nude Beach Kit and this is a golden sand shade. Creating a kind of daytime look needs to be very natural. It doesn't have to be matte. This is a very soft shimmery shade and it goes with Maria's skin tone. So although it will be shimmery, it will still be very natural. What I love about NudeStix is it's great for on the go, especially for someone like Maria. You can keep these in your purse and you can use them straight from the bullet. These are super easy to blend up with your fingers and I have a tutorial on how to use these with no brushes. The next colour I'm using is Taupe and this is a creamy matte finish. It's really important to use a matte shade when you want to define your socket line, as this is going to create a shadowed appearance. If you use something that's shimmery, it's going to reflect the light and it won't make that area look like it's sunken. So we are contouring the socket using this shade and I've created a C shape following the natural curvature of Maria's eye. As this pencil is a creamy finish, I'm using a synthetic brush to blend this out because synthetic brushes always tend to work better with cream based products, otherwise it tends to make natural hair kind of stick together, which then makes blending a nightmare. I'm also pulling that colour down onto the top lash line on the outer corner. This will help to define that lash line, and I'm also taking it underneath the bottom lashes, taking that about 1/3 of the way across. And then I'm using my brush just to soften that, but again you could just use your fingers. I'm going to fill Maria's eyebrows in using the MAC Shape and Shade Brow Tint Pen in the shade Fling, which is kind of more for blondes. I'm just kind of redefining the shape and keeping them very natural looking but not too thick. A little tip to make your eyes look a lot more awake for a daytime look is to apply a cream pencil along your waterline. This is going to diminish any pinky tones which inevitably make you look more tired. Now I'm taking this Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara by Thrive Cosmetics, and this is brand new and I'm actually giving it to Maria, so I'm going to use it straight from the wand. This is a tubing mascara, which means it lengthens lashes and it doesn't flake but it washes away really easily. Also it's vegan and cruelty free. To sculpt Maria's face, I'm taking the Huda Beauty Tan Tool, which is a bronzer and contour in one. And I'm using my Zoe but 103 Defined Buffer Brush from the new Coral Shine collection to stipple that onto the face. First off, I like to stipple the placement of it and then I like to buff it into the skin with small swiping motions. Much like I was saying earlier, this is a cream based product, so it's best to use a brush with synthetic bristles, which this one is. Once I finish using the brush, I always go back in with my sponge and press that over the top. I like to do this at nearly every stage because that gives us the most natural finish. For the cheeks, I'm going to use another cream-based product. This one is from Nude Sticks. It's called Sunkissed. Although this is a matte blush, it isn't actually mattifying, it just means it doesn't contain any shimmer particles. For daytime looks, I really love to use cream-based products because, as you can see, Maria's got a really beautiful dewy finish and you can just powder the areas that you don't want any shine. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Maria is a pilot and being up in the air can really dehydrate her skin, so using creamy products really helps to create a nice glowy finish. For lips, I'm using a coloured balm. This one is by Emile Corden and it's powdered rose, so it just adds a hint of colour which really does beautifully complement the cheeks. And as you can see, we've evened out Maria's skin tone. She looks fresh and healthy and this is a great daytime look. I'm now going to show you how to work directly on top of this and transition this into an evening look. I'm going in with the Kat Von D Lock-It Powder Foundation. This is in the shade Medium 145. I'm going in with my 103 Define Buffer Brush by Zoeva, which again is from the Coral Shine collection, which is beautiful. And I'm patting that over the entire face. As you can see, it's starting to mattify, but it's also adding a little bit of extra coverage. As this is an evening look, we're going to redefine the sculpting on the face. So I'm now going in with a matte powder. This is a bronzer, the Chocolate Soleil bronzer by Too Faced Cosmetics. This is a matte finish. I'm running this across the cheekbones, around the hairline and also a little bit around the jawline. I'm going to add a little bit more of a punch of colour to the cheeks. I'm using one of my favourite blushes. This one is by Delilah Cosmetics in the shade Dusk. You can always afford to wear a bit more colour on your cheeks for an evening look because it's going to be a bit more muted due to the lighting. To give the eyes a bit more of a smoky feel, I'm taking this shade by Nude Sticks. This is called Rustic Grotto. I've chosen this because it's a shimmery terracotta shade. The warmth from this colour is really going to help to make Maria's eyes look more blue. So I'm following the C shape on the outer half of Maria's mobile lid, and then I'm also reapplying some of the colour prior. These Nude Sticks pencils actually set in place, so reapplying prior before I blend the Rustic Grotto would just help the blending process, and it also just means I've layered the colours so they're going to last a lot longer. I love to create smokiness with more rustic shades. They don't always have to be black and charcoal if you want that smoky feel. I'm placing Rustic Grotto very close to the lash line underneath the outer corner of the lower lashes, and then softening that with my 241 Precision Smudger Brush by Zoeva. I'm also running that same pencil halfway across Maria's waterline. I'm now taking the colour Marooned, which is this reddish matte brown. I'm going to use this to kind of smoke the colour out, but with a reddish tone, so it's still really warm and helps to make the blues in Maria's eyes that much more intense. I'm using my Zoeva 231 Petite Crease Brush to soften this colour, and I'm keeping the majority of the placement on the outer half and then using what's left on the bristles to create a C shape round into the socket and also connecting that with the outer corner of the bottom lash line. I'm just bringing up a before and after of this maroon shade so you can see what we're creating here. We have framed Maria's eyes in that C shape, so when she looks up directly at the camera you can see the colour around the eyes rather than it disappearing when the lid's open. Now I'm taking a small amount of Marooned just slightly lower than the Rustic Grotto just underneath the lower lashes and then smoking out with my brush. Once you've blended the majority of the colour with that brush, use what's left on the bristles to pull that colour forward towards the tear duct area. That way it will add a small amount of colour to this area, and I'm also doing the same at the very top of the socket line. This will prevent you from applying too much colour in these areas, but it will still add a hint of the same shade. And then I'm just softening that with a fluffy blending brush. Next up, I'm going to apply some individual clusters. These look much prettier than applying a strip lash or a ton of mascara. Maria doesn't wear a ton of makeup, she's naturally beautiful so she doesn't need to, and a strip lash I feel would just kind of overtake her face. It would also hide a lot of the eyeshadow that we've applied. I'm just applying a very small amount of mascara to the ends of the eyelashes. I'm taking my Natasha Denona Bloom Blush and Glow palette to continue with the sculpting of the face. Highlighting really helped to make the top of the cheekbones pop, and that's what we're doing with the highlighter. I'm also applying a small amount of that highlighter to the inner corners of the eyes to make this area pop. Since we've intensified the eyes, the blush now looks a lot less visible, so we're just reapplying a small amount of that. This helps to balance out the makeup on the face. I'm going to keep the lips quite nude. I'm using Boy Baked Lip Gloss by MAC. I love a lip gloss in the evening, especially when it's nude, because you've got that ambient light and it just reflects off of your lips. If you opt for a matte nude, your lips kind of tend to blend into your face. This isn't really a look that I would add colour to because we've really played up the eyes, so we want to keep lips quite natural. I just decided at the last minute that I wanted to apply a small amount of black eyeshadow just along the very outer third of the top lash line. Once again, this just intensifies the eyelashes and it just makes them look a little bit fuller from a distance, but again, because it's close to the root of the eyelashes, we're not closing that eyelid space. So I put a bouncy wave through Maria's hair just to change it up to take it from daytime to evening glam. And you can see from her before and after, it's not over the top, we've just enhanced her natural beauty. So a huge thank you to Maria for being my beautiful model. I hope you've all enjoyed watching a transformation from Maria's natural face to a daytime makeup look, and then from a daytime makeup look to transition that to an evening makeup look. As usual, all the products I've used will be listed and linked in the description bar below. Don't forget to go and follow Maria's YouTube and Instagram. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and if you'd like to follow me outside of YouTube, my social handles are on screen. Thanks for watching and I'll see you again soon. Bye!